I'm JFlinch, and as many of you know, I've been going deeper on the topic of trust as an enablement for many transformations, lean transformation included. I've written a fairly comprehensive article on my view on what we call the 4 C's of trust. But it's also allowed me to explore other opportunities, other avenues, other directions at the avenue of trust. And so what I want to talk about is a book by a good friend of mine. Todd Welch wrote this book, Trust, How to Put It Back in Business. Now, Todd's a good friend of mine. We were actually co-founders of the Lehigh Valley Angel Investors many, many years ago. Now, Todd is an individual who lives his life on the basis of trust. This wasn't a topic that he came about in an abstract way. He wasn't looking for a topic to write a book on. This was a topic that was near and dear to his heart. And trust was the centerpiece of a lot of what he does in life and in business. And so it was in that pursuit that he decided to write this book. Now, we won't go through the whole book, but at the core of the book is a fundamental model about builders and busters. And we'll talk about this in a bit. There's fundamentally in your interactions that you have with people, there's opportunities to either build trust or to bust trust. And so there's a 5-point scale that he actually uses to measure trust on either side of where you see you are. So this is fundamentally sort of like a bank account, right? You can withdraw trust, you can deposit trust based on which side of zero you really are. Now, just to share this scale, there's 5 points on either side. At -5 is annihilation, nullification, aggression, manipulation, and then protection. So think about that word protection. This just means you're on the defensive. You are slightly defensive on that interaction because you don't fully trust it. It's a far cry from annihilation, but think about how many moments you might be in that protective scale. On the positive side of the encounters, you have at the top creationship, partnership, friendship, guardianship, and relationship. Right? So again, think about creationship, we need at the top of the scale, versus relationship, just being on the slightly positive side. The point is that I think that most people spend an awful lot of time bouncing between -1 and 1. This may actually be a logarithmic scale if you think about the number of interactions, but how many of those interactions aren't far cry from creationship or annihilation? They're either being a little protective or just having a relationship. So think about not just are you on either side of zero, but what can you do to build up that scale? Creationship, really when you get to that +5 side of that scale, is a pretty committed level of trust. I look at a great example of this being my former co-founder of the Lean Learning Center, Andy Carlino, and I. We had a tremendous amount of trust that even when we acted against each other's wishes, we also knew that we were acting on the best intentions for each other. We actually both acted, and this wasn't always entirely healthy, making sure that we sacrificed more than the other had to sacrifice. We had each other's interest in mind, and even when it didn't go our way, we had full trust and faith in that relationship. And it allowed us to be a very creative relationship that helped build a business that was groundbreaking in many ways in the market. And so, that's a very compelling way to live, a very compelling type of relationship. So my point is, don't just bounce around either side of zero. See what you can do to really work your way up that scale and achieve those opportunities to get in creationship as a very positive form of trust in the relationships you have. Thank you.